saints. Table has been set, so take your place. There is no more condemnation. There is only grace.
Growth Radio, Gospel Radio. Our way to heaven. Growth Radio, Gospel Radio. Our way to heaven. One king and one kingdom making people feel like family.
Growth Radio is growing with a new program, Interviewed with the Authors. Local authors, regional authors, international authors, new authors, and well-seasoned authors too. Join us every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. AST. We're interviewing authors, and who knows, next time we could be interviewing you. Interview with the Authors every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on growthradiott.com.
Growth Radio. Growth Radio. Growth Radio. Growth Radio.
And good evening, Growth Radio listeners. Good evening to you wherever you are listening to us in the world. We are so happy to have you, as we always are. How are you doing? You know, it is a rainy season. It's a wet season in Trinidad and Tobago, and it is glorious. The plants are loving it. How is the weather like in your part of the world? Write to us and tell us something. Tell us something. How are you enjoying our shows as well? Tell us what you like or what you would like to see. We love to get your feedback. So it is another time for us to do another segment of Interview with the Authors, and we are glad to have you with us. I am your host, Cherise Janine Broom, and we have a very exciting young man with us this evening. And we're going to hear a little bit more about him in a short. But of course, before I move any further, I just want to say thank you so much for your support of Growth Radio. However you support us, we are grateful. If you support us in prayer, thank you. If you support us financially, thank you. If you support us by just saying hello on our Facebook and YouTube pages, we want to say thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we want to say, you know, welcome again to another segment of Interview with the Authors. And we want you to know that we appreciate all that you do. All who listen to us, you know, thank you. Thank you for sharing us whenever we have a program going on. So as I said, we have a wonderful young man with us this evening, a local author and writer. And, you know, I've been going through a lot of his work, and it's so interesting, it's so intriguing. And we want to say welcome to Kieran Isaac to Growth Radio. Welcome, Kieran.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's exciting to be here. Thanks for having me on the show, means a lot.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. And it's so awesome because you are a young writer, up and coming writer. And we're so proud of you. We're so happy that you put this work out. And this is your first publication, is it?
Yeah, this is my first. Yeah, this is my first step into, I guess they call it the Big Boys Club.
Ah, all right. So welcome to the Big Boys Club. And I think you did a really good job for your first book. You know, it's a lot. You've given us a lot, and it's called Poetry. And so how did you come up with that name, Poetry? I thought it was so very, very humorous. How did you come up with that name?
Yes, so when the idea came that I was going to publish this poetry collection, I'm kind of what you call a everything at once kind of person. So when I got the idea, my brain just started going pew pew pew, and I was like, okay, I want the title to be Poetry because it makes sense. I was like, it's a pun, one that's nice and poetic.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, when I have this poetry, I immediately got the image I wanted in my head for the cover. So I said, yes, Kieran, write this down, it makes sense. And I was like, it makes sense because it's a tree and there are branches in a tree.
Right.
It's a collection, branches to who you are.
Yes.
You're a poet. I was like, wow, this makes so much sense. So I
wow. That is so cool.
And I guess they say the rest was history, right?
Yes, yes. Show us the cover. Show us the cover of the book.
Yeah.
What that you said is a poetry. Oh, beautiful. Oh my goodness. That is beautiful. Who did the cover?
So the cover was painted by my friend Antonia Figaro. She goes by
Wow.
Art by Antonia on Instagram. So when I knew that this was the cover I had in my mind to go with the book, I immediately messaged her. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I forgot she has a day job, right? So I messaged her. She's like, "Ah, I'll call you back later."
Yeah.
I
Because you're so excited, right? You're not thinking of anything
was
else.
just excited.
Yes.
And she calls me back later, and we go through a lot of different iterations of
Concepts.
what we,
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
actually our chat looked like if we were opening a plant shop. I always make that joke. She
Oh,
sends me like all
wow.
these different branches. I send her like banyan trees. She sends me different pui trees. And we
Yeah.
keep going at it. And then eventually we came up with this. And then actually the image that she painted was so much better than what I had in my head.
Oh, look at that. She's truly an artist. She's
Yeah,
truly an
she had
expert.
these nuances with the pinks and I was like, how do you take an image from my head and make it better? I
Yeah.
always
Oh
make
my
that joke.
gosh.
And it was just really magical. And for me, when I saw the picture,
Yeah.
I knew that the book had come together. This was even before
Wow.
um a lot of the final process that had taken place. But I knew when I saw this picture,
Yeah.
I was excited. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh. I'm so excited for you. Show us again. It's such a beautiful picture, such a beautiful
and
cover.
I told her, make sure the guy on the tree has an afro because
Okay, to
I mean,
represent, right?
I mean, I don't have it now, but when
Yeah.
I started writing, that was when I was avoiding the barber in the earlier part of the pandemic.
Yes.
We still didn't understand the pandemic, so we're trying to still see you only
Okay.
going very hard to. So I guess maybe the longer hair represents the creativity at that point.
Okay. Okay.
That's where all the
Okay.
traditions came to life.
Right. Right.
He make sure he has a little afro.
Yes.
So she's like, I got you, I got
Oh,
you.
I love that. I love that. I'm so excited for you. So it was an exciting time. But other than being an exciting time, it also was a traumatic time, as you write in your book. And so take us through what was happening at that time of your life before poetry came to be.
Yes, definitely. So I say that I kind of quip that even though we had this major pandemic, I feel like I had my own pandemic going on. Because I'm actually a medical student, and people jump on it, and I was actually in the process of like four different school transfers. Well, one school transfer, which turned into four, because the pandemic was just closing borders, So I was like, whoa, how do I salvage this career? And then around that time, my granddad got diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. So that was just another, thing. And so my focus now went from trying to preserve my medical career to trying to preserve my granddad's life.
Right. And your
I'm only,
sanity.
yeah, exactly. I'm only human, so I'm like, okay, wow, how do I manage all of this?
Yeah.
It was a lot. And my mom, like sometimes you don't say stuff and your face would switch to it. And my mom was like, your face is telling me a lot right now. So she pulled me aside and she said, what is something you always wanted to do that you never had the time to do? And it didn't click right away. But moms repeat stuff, so she repeated it. And eventually,
The
you know,
wisdom of moms.
yeah, exactly. And then she repeated it and it clicked, and I was like, you know what, mommy? I always wanted to publish a poetry collection. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, that's what we're gonna do.
Wow. Look at
So,
that.
yeah, she and dad, my whole family actually supported from the inception.
Yeah.
And
She's a
even at
hero.
yeah, even at times I was like, why am I even doing this? And she's like, we are going to publish this book with or
Yeah.
without you. She's like, we in too deep. She's like, we are going, we are going, we are going. So that support and encouragement was really great. And I, I like people asked if it was just like a project or a distraction. I don't like to use the distraction because I call it like a passion project more so than a distraction.
Yeah.
Because it was a collection of me, so it's kind
Right.
of me getting to delve into, like, I joke that even the first section is somewhat I use the word autobiographical in a way because a lot
Yeah,
of
it
people,
is.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's not a prose, it's poetry, but it's still stories in the form of
Yes.
poetry.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a collection very dear to me, and even some pieces are like topics that I've really spoken about with people, but I write about it.
Yeah.
So it was deep and it was
It's a deep, yeah.
yeah, it
So
was like
it I have here it's like a deeply personal chronicle of your life.
wow, I love how you did that. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah,
Yeah, because the
I thought it's
first
so
sec
good.
you have it in sections, right? You
Yeah,
have it in different, and the first section you have living, learning, and growing. And I love how you sectionize the things, you know. And the first part of that living, learning, and growing, you have one of your poems. It's called I Am Jazz. And that is really sassy. Let me tell you, people, those who are listening, that's a sassy one. I Am Jazz. Then you have another one called Following My Shadow. Then you have Drop in Love. Oh, and this one I love the how you wrote it. It glittered. Too bad it wasn't gold. And then you have one that's really very, very cultural, Bazo D and Panadol one a day. I just love how did you come up with these topics, these titles?
yeah. So when I realized that I was going to do this collection, um, sometimes I'll just get like a title and I'll be like, wow, this is really funny for a title. Or it'll be like based on a thought that I have and I'll write it down and I'll see where it goes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
in particular, I Am Jazz is actually one I did. It's probably one of the first times I ever wrote back in high school with
right.
my communication studies teacher for an IA. And it was a poem where when we worked in it, I realized I was good at poetry. So I always figured if I ever put forward a collection, I
Yeah.
would have to include it, right? And then like Basidi was just kind of humorous because I always joke that sometimes guys when they see a girl, they get a little Basidi.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah,
That's the beauty
yeah,
of that relationship, right?
yeah. Another Panadol one, they kind of stemmed from a joke. My friend, she goes on all these dates, and I'm like, yo, I can't keep up. I'm like, it's like Panadol one a day,
She
and it's like,
goes on different dates, you say?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's big
Okay.
on dating, but you know, like me,
Yes.
I'm like, kind of scared to do dating because so I like the Java a little bit.
Yes, yes.
But the title actually went a little further into the act of like these guys who they can't stick to. They take a step further. I
Yes.
really stick to one person, so it's kind of like a job at that.
Right.
Calling them in a panel one a day.
Okay.
If I like a title, I'm like I have to. I do whatever it takes to pull the poem out of the title if I think it's
Right.
clever enough, and then if it doesn't work out, just scrap it. But
Right,
I'm
right.
really happy when I get the title that I want and then I get the story to come out of it. You know.
Oh, that is so cool. That's so awesome. So you take inspiration from from your daily life and your interactions with friends and family, right? That's so nice. I just love you've given us so much. You've given us so much to read, so much to think about. You know, another one, it's called Wonder Woman. And is that, I mean, that's awesome. Tell us about
That
Wonder
one.
Woman. How did that come to be?
So ironically, I was watching Wonder Woman.
Okay, go figure.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Okay.
Then I was like, I want to write something about Wonder Woman, and then it kind of became more of like, who are the Wonder Woman in my life? So I was
Yeah.
kind of thinking about like my mom, my
Yeah.
sister, my aunt, and I was even thinking about like how in society, women were going through things with like domestic violence and
Yes.
relegated to like gender inequality, income disparities and stuff like that. So my brain just kept going and I came up with Wonder Woman and I was like, you know what? I really like what this became. I was like, I have to include it.
Yeah.
It's always cool to and that's the beauty of like being creative. I just like that I could have like this idea and I wouldn't and I have the idea, the initial idea, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's gonna come of it. But then when something comes of it, I'm like, wow, I like this.
Yeah.
That's always beautiful.
That is always beautiful. And you know, there's so many, when you start to write, and especially if you are doing poetry, there's so many iterations of the first poem that you wrote. How did you decide which one? Did you have lots of iterations of the same poems?
Yeah, so I actually consulted an editor.
Yeah.
So she's Shelley Ann Edwards Barron of WERD. And that was even something I really had to think about. Because I told my mom, I'm a linguist. I did good in language in school, so I need an editor. And
Oh,
my
okay.
mom she was like, if you really want the book to go far, she was like, I recommend an editor. And I
Yes.
said, you know what? I was like, I need to take myself up back up a
Seriously.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, if I want to try to take it seriously, there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with going with the editor. And it was even like a prideful thing. It was just I was just like genuinely thinking, like, do I need an editor? But I'm
Yeah.
really happy that I consulted the editor because
Yeah.
we actually reworked a lot of the poetry.
Okay.
And it was still like she would guide me, but
Yes.
she obviously up is my call as to whether I accept these changes or direction. It was really cool because one, it helped to shape the poems a little better, and then two, it was cool because um in a way she's like my first reader for some of them. So in my head, I think I know how a poem comes across, and then she's like, "What is it?" She doesn't mean it in a bad
Yeah.
way. She just genuinely
Yes.
wants to know, and then I
Yeah.
kind of have to like not take it in a bad way.
A personal way. Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
take it
because she just
personally.
genuinely, yeah, 'cause she just genuinely
Yeah.
wants to know what is this about.
Editing. Yeah. Yeah.
Because she wants to know how to edit it and how we
Yes.
across the reader in the best possible way.
That's right.
So that was also really cool. Super good. So we had to find our gel together. It
Yeah.
came naturally, and I think it's actually really beautiful to have worked with the editor because
Yeah.
a lot of the poems, some of them had like a new life, and I was actually
Wow.
really appreciative of that. And even as I continue to write, like since then, I feel like now I could even see my growth from working with the editor. Like I find myself editing my own work, and I'm like, okay, this was a good holistic collaboration.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it was a valuable experience for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and definitely as any writer, anyone who has written before, they would tell you get an editor, get two if you can,
But
because the second one might find something that the first one might have missed.
that is
It's very important as a writer to have an editor or two, so I'm glad that you found her. And yeah, so I'm excited about what's even happening next. And
uh,
something you just said, that even in this editing time with the editor, with Shelley, that you grew. So tell me, how has this book, um, how has it changed your life? How has it changed you?
yeah, I think wow, that's a so deep question. In a lot of ways, one I think I've been a little more open with like speaking about like things that hurt bothers me. I feel like I found my voice a little bit because it's one thing about writing is um. But when I had a book launch, I had to like kind of explain some of the poems, and I chose some of the more difficult ones because I wanted to push myself. So one is like a speak about issues like that, mental health, stuff like that. Like I'm a very positive person, but we aren't always positive. That's just how we are as humans. We have like a lower moment. So I feel like this book was me kind of like accepting that and just being like human, you know, and even putting myself out there in like interviews.
A little risky, huh?
Yeah,
Was it
even
scary for you?
yeah, and then like even contacting bookstores to kind of like get the books out there. Sometimes you don't hear back from a bookstore, but I've learned that sometimes that's not a no. It's just that they have so much book. So in my head, like if I don't hear back, I'm like, that's okay, maybe they don't like that. But it's like no, you have to like keep following up, and that's something that really is a lot comfortable for me because I'm such a person like in my real life. Like in some of the poems, like there's one that's called "It's Glittered Too Bad It Wasn't Good." That's about me learning people for who they are and not running them down. So sometimes, like in business deals, I'm like, oh, I'm not running anybody down, but it's not running down; it's securing the bargain. So I'm like trying to find that mesh. So I feel like all of that really been able to grow from this book, you know. So it's been a lot of growth. Sometimes uncomfortable, but growth is uncomfortable, right?
Growth is uncomfortable, and that is the name of this program. This is the name of the station, Growth
Right?
Radio, right?
Definitely.
And yes, you have to
That's
come out of your
happening.
comfort zone. Yeah. Yes, you have to come out of your comfort zone. And I'm glad that you did, because the world is your oyster,
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
it's there's so much out there for the grabbing, and you really can't stay in a corner and go in a closet or anything like that, or take things too personally. You just have to believe in yourself. As you said, that's one of the things that you had to learn. You had to learn how to believe in yourself more and not take things personally. Just keep going, right?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so
Thank
glad that
you.
you did. I'm really, really proud of you. So where was this book launched and when?
Okay, so it came out December the 5th, but ironically, I didn't have a launch, well, a physical launch till about 4 months later, because with the pandemic, at first I was like, I want to have this crowd of people. You know, I mean, even though we've been in the pandemic for a while, I was still back and forth because you keep thinking that the pandemic is easing up and things going back. So I'm like, do I really want a crowd of people? And I was like, maybe I could use that money to, when it launched, I think I did a lot of Christmas pop-up shops around. So I used the money that I would have put this launch into that, which was okay. But I think maybe I should have had the launch at the start, but that's in retrospect. But I had it 4 months later, and nonetheless, it was still good. And I finally got to chat with my editor and my graphics person and have a crow and do like live reading, which was nerve wracking but fun. you know.
Yes, great. Because all of that, as you said, it's part of the growing process, right? But did you do anything like this before you wrote your book? Were you interacting with the public with regards to your poems even before? Because I mean, of course, you would have been writing long before you've published this. So what did you do with them before you published them? Where were they?
Because there's one. Well, I am jazz. I wrote that in high school. Then there's one called Fatherless. I wrote for a friend for her project and about a situation she was going through. There was a lot more I wrote when I was younger, but I lost it, and I'm kind of glad I did because I feel like I've grown so much as a writer since then. I feel like the rhymes were really not as good as I thought they were. So maybe they deserve to stay in wherever they are right now.
Okay, get a new life, a new lease on life,
Yeah, but I
right?
also like write like my youth group in church, so I write like church programs, but it's kind of like a script, but like mini plays and that kind of thing. So that was where I was trying on my creativity. And so people definitely know I write, but maybe not poetry. What I did though, I tried something a little tricky. I wanted to test my poetry without telling people I was actually reading. So I'd like randomly release a poem as like a caption on a picture. So I think it was like for Republic Day or one of those days I released fraud product of Sri and Tobago, but like as a caption to my picture. People in the comments were like, "Ooh, hidden talent! Wow, you should publish." And I was like, yes. And I think I posted like painting like one of the Caribbean boys and as another caption, and people were like, "Oh, very clever." And I was like, yes, give it to me. So it was like kind of like a smart way for me to test out the poetry without outrightly telling them I was about to publish.
Hey, I like that. I like that. So do you do spoken word as well? Do you do stand-up poetry?
So I get asked this a lot. So that is the next step. I'm really trying to grow as a performer because writing is easy, reading is easy, but to me, like I feel like spoken word is a lot of drama, and I really want to do the right way. Like I went back and forth, debating like even poetry slam. I feel like I want to grow a little more as a performer please, because I'm really competitive and I know where I'm at. So I want to, and this level of talent that they have, I really want
It's
to.
through the roof, right?
Yeah. I just don't want to go in and be like, yeah, because I could definitely write, but I want to like holistically evolve as a performer. So
Okay.
I think that'll be fun. I could probably try some more intimate crowds, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Work
have to
my way
start
up.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Keep us posted, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so if you are just tuning in to us, those of you on radio in Radio Land, if you just tuned in, you are listening to Interview with the Authors here on growthradiott.com. You can find us here every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And this evening, we are with the up and coming young poet, Kieran Isaac. We're so glad to have him. And so Kieran is telling us about his newly published book, Poetry. And tell us where we could find your book, Kieran.
Yeah, so right now it's available at Scribbles and Quills, which is a Toronto paper-based bookshop, Normandy, Jardis Bookstore, Rima. It's on Amazon and Kindle, or you can message or call me at 763-8566, or email me at poetryworld@gmail.com. It's getting out there, and I'm excited. I have some more bookstores I have on my list to contact, but in due time, in due time.
Yes, in due time. Awesome. So another section of your book, it's called The Ones That I Hold Dear. Oh my, Auntie Elsie, who's she?
Yeah, right. Auntie Elsie is actually, she's not my blood aunt, but she was my babysitter when I was younger. And I've just connected with her. And she's always been like a second mother to me. I remember when I was younger, she always reminds me that I told her whenever I get married, her and my mom would be on either side of me walking down the aisle. So they always count down. They're like, when is the day coming? She's just an awesome human being. So I felt like I had to encapsulate her beauty in a book.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, as you said, well, let's read a little bit let's read a little bit from that poem, Auntie Elsie, since it's such a personal,
Oh, let me get it right here. All right, so yes, like you said, this one's called Auntie Elsie.
yeah.
So let's do a generous woman who lived behind my primary school. Childhood memories with her forever etched in my memory pool. I told her one day, along with my mom, she'll walk me down the aisle. She reminds me of this while wearing her crescendo smile. Her sons and loved ones have unofficially become family, all lovers of life, laughter, and people just like me. Nobody could beat her when it comes to making movie, coconut bake, and saltfish. When she sent for me, I hide it from my family because it will diminish. My forever supply of mangoes to making Julie mango chow. If I see her in church, it's hugs and laughter all now. I wish that everyone could experience the spirit and love shared by Auntie Elsie. We'd count it a blessing to be as fortunate as me.
Oh, yay. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. How did she feel? Did she blush when she read it for herself? Did you read it to her?
I think I think I told her about it. I'm not sure if I got her reaction live, but she knows about the poem and I know she appreciates it. But I have to I think yeah, I got so there's so much going on. I feel like I always wanted to go up to her one day with the book and read it to her. I think I'll
Yeah.
probably read it to her in person again. But I
Yeah.
think she definitely she's aware of it and yeah, she knows how much I love her. The love is
Oh, that is really sweet. So are you still single? Are you still single and looking? Should we make an announcement now?
very
People,
single.
very single. I hope not painfully so. Okay, people, you heard it first. Okay, Kieran Isaac, he is single and seeking. Okay, so any ladies, what kind of lady are you looking for? Another poet, another linguist like yourself? What do you like?
Someone who could appreciate my corny sense of humor.
Okay, yes.
But pretty chill, funny, kind, empathetic, all
Yes.
of those ones.
Oh my goodness, yes, those are great qualities in both male and female, and God has that person for you. So keep praying for her. I know she's praying for you. I know she's praying for that for her Boaz. And in the meantime, just keep prepared, keep prepared. God is a God of his word, he's a God of his promise.
That's right.
And I love that about God. He said he has the right person for you. He has the suitable companion for Kira and Isaac. And
Amen.
we are
Better
agreeing, we touching and agreeing in prayer with you, Kira, to find that one that God has for you.
Amen.
We're excited. We're excited to see, that completion. God wants us to be complete
Amen.
in him. So we are excited for not only more of your books, but for that wedding day where your mom and your aunt could walk you down the
Yeah,
aisle.
yeah,
we'll be
Fast,
rooting for you.
fast. We might need to do a part two to the poem as well.
Right, yeah. That's the before and the after, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh goodness, that's exciting. There's always excitement in God, and we are grateful for that little piece of excitement. And this one that you have here called "Don't Mess with a Grandy Girl." What is that about?
So actually, so what I love about this collection is just about a lot of my friends who were there for me throughout the pandemic. So actually, so when I was in pre-med, um, there were four of us from Trinidad and Tobago. And so what I did, and they were there for me throughout the pandemic, still there for me. So I wanted to like write odes to them as in testament of friendship. So this was about my friend, she's from Grandy. Then there's one called North Boy, it goes Tobago, Surprise Fish, and then there's one called I think North Boy and South King. So that's about three of my friends who were always there for me. Yeah, so this was my friend from Grandy, and she's pretty invincible and pretty loyal and helpful. So I was like, big up you with a poem.
So nice. That is really nice. And again, as I said earlier, it really is a deeply personal chronicle of your life because it incorporates so much about who the people in your life that make you you, that bring out the you in you. And that is really a beautiful
That's what I
thing.
love so much about it because I feel like you really get to know me when you read it, and you get to know the people who I love and who are there for me and loyal to me. And I feel like loyalty is a big thing for me with the pandemic because whew, some friendships didn't survive. But it's about, as you said, it's like about like God and the good places in your life. And I'm always a person who will give gratitude where due, and I like to appreciate people. So when I wrote these pieces for them, they were like, "Oh," and they were like, they were so touched. They was expecting it, and it made the project that much more special. And she's so supportive of the book, like any updates or any article she sees or whatever. Or like if I send it a book review, and the person just opens the book and posts a picture, she'll send me first, and she'll be like, "Look who's reading your book," So it's always exciting to have that kind of.
That is so nice. So it's not only your book, you've got a whole community. You've got a whole community, a poetry community,
Yeah.
and that is awesome. That is really beautiful. So, what was what was one of the hardest things for you while writing this book?
Um, I think maybe touching on heavier topics like let's say I think following my shadow and disenchanted. I think those two were like when I was definitely dark space in the pandemic. So it was one, it was a little hard to write, but I think I needed to write it to you know to release it.
And
And
you call it in your book, you call it a catharsis. It was therapy, right?
yeah, definitely. And as I said, growth is uncomfortable, but I feel like I'm mature, and I was like, let's put this to pen and paper. And for me, I look back, I was even like contemplating if I should keep them in the book, but I was like, this is our authentic collection, and like you said, it's catharsis and therapy. I was like, I'll keep them there. And to me, I was even more proud of the book that I kept the more difficult pieces because even though I'm a positive, laughy person, like I said earlier, like life isn't always like that. You need to show all the nuances and
Yeah, not every day is a sunny day, huh?
exactly.
Yeah. But I'm glad that you went through that. Are you glad that you went through it as well?
Yeah, because now I could talk about it. And I'm always like a kind of person where no matter what I'm going through, like I try to help others as well. So I'm like maybe God is allowing it so I could reach out to other people. I remember like someone messaged me. One of my mom's friends, she lost her husband, but her husband used to buy books for her daughter. And when the book came out, she told me that she bought the book as a way to reconnect with her daughter because the dad would buy books. And listen, when she told me that, I was like, I'm a talkative person. I was rendered speechless.
Wow.
I was like, and I realized in that moment, I was like, this book is bigger than me.
It's bigger than
I'm,
you, yeah.
I'm open into my future. And like, you know, like you want to make money with a book,
That's
but
not, yeah, that's
to me,
just,
it's like I was like, money, whatever. I was like,
yeah,
I just
it's bigger
love to
than that.
connect. Yeah, I just love to connect with people, and I literally got chills in that moment.
Wow.
Like, wow, this book is bigger than me. And
Wow, Kiran. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. That is really amazing. And I'm glad you brought up that point so that I want persons who are listening, I want them to really go get a copy of this book because of, the impact, the positive impact it has on not only your personally, but also families, and wow, Kiran, that's wow. That's mind blowing, right?
so we are ourselves. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to hear that. And and the book it's so unique, it's really just like your personality, as unique as you are. And I love how again at the titles, they're so quirky. They're
That
so quirky. This one, howler monkey mentality, and as
one
quiet
of
as
my
a
favorites.
woodpecker. What? I love it. What is that howler monkey mentality? Who's got a howler monkey mentality, by the way? Excuse me.
That was kind of. I like to throw nice jobs, at certain things. Nothing personal, just fun jobs. People who are like people like sit there moving in silence, but they're literally saying it loud. So it's like, is that really in silence? So it's kind of like throwing jobs at but like people who are like they kind of like push themselves upon you. And it's like, and it kind of reminds me of like Howler Monkeys because they're so loud. So it was kind of like a fun job. And when I wrote this one and we edited it, we are just laughing so much. We're like, this is so funny. And I was like, I think it's playful. I was like, it has to stay in the book. So that's how that one came about. And then, as quite as a woodpecker, we laughed at the irony of it. And I was kind of like, I love nature so much. I could probably go into a whole discussion about that. But nature to me is so therapeutic. And I was kind of impressed that woodpeckers, they seem so small and their beaks are so small, but they could make this loud noise and this indentation. So I was kind of like inspired to. I'm like, okay, I may feel so small in the world sometimes, but I want to make my indentation and I want to make my presence known. So that's how that one came along as well.
Oh, now I see. I get the understanding. Wow. Okay, that is great. So what else can people expect from poetry? What else can people expect?
So there's a lot of there's even a fun section I really like on our culture. Um, I even at first I was a little I don't use with scared. I feel like writing about culture, you have to be intentional and specific, and I wanted to be respectful of the culture and the jargon and terms. So I think at first I didn't write a lot about culture. And then my literature teacher was telling me, you should focus a little more on our culture. You have a lot of pop culture. And then my friend was telling me, I wrote two doubles with slides, I think, and I read two, and I sent him, and he said, I think you found your voice. He said, I think you just found your voice. He's like, I love your little inflections and culture. And he's like, why are you overthinking it? Like, write more on this. And quite naturally, it came about where I wrote a lot of local poems. And even more so, I could see that the next collection would be about our culture and folklore and that kind of thing. So Yes, it ended up being one of my favorite sections. I give nods to like beauty queens, even like Savannah Grass, Naya Blackburn. So, you know,
Nice.
I feel like you wait till a lot of your local celebrities die, and everyone's like, "Oh, they were so great," and I'm
Yeah.
like, and
Wait
I'm like,
until they're dead, right?
give them the kudos now, like they're alive,
Mhm.
pick them up. So, that
Okay,
was
yes, yes. I agree. I really agree. And you're one of them now, right? You're one of them now. So who's gonna come next to big up Kieran Isaac, you know? So it's great that you're making your mark now. And you know, that what Kieran is talking about, there is a section in his book poetry called Is the Culture. And some of the titles are Two Doubles with Slight, Product of Trinidad and Tobago, When Life Gives You Lemon, Season the Chicken.
one of my favorites.
That is so endemic of Trinidad. That is Trinidad and Tobago,
Right?
right? Oh, I love it. Never feed Kobo sponge cake.
Yeah,
Mash up everything. That's never feed Kobo sponge cake. That is one of our idioms, local
yeah.
idioms. Trini directions. Oh my goodness. Savannah Grass, as you just mentioned. Nyla Blackman, we love her. We love her
Yeah.
work. Lady Chancellor, the Scarlet Ibis, and the Coquerico, Beulah and Eloise, and it have Bush tea for that. I love that. That is so cultural. That is Trinidad and Tobago in one phrase.
Right? Right?
Right?
Everything.
Tell us about that. Tell us about it. Have Bush tea for that.
Yeah, so it's a funny phrase. I just feel like you hear like throughout your whole life, like anything hurting you, even your elbow, if you wake up a bush teeth and so, and I think I was watching like one of those Trini food reviews YouTube videos. I think was it Uncle Clyde or one of them down Paramin, and he's like telling me about all these different bush teas. And then even I remember like something my mom would recommend or my friends. So I just asked all of them for like their favorite bush tea remedy. And I put it together into a kind of a rhyme. And what, maybe this poem might be helpful to somebody who need a little bush tea remedy. So I thought I was like, and when I finished it, this could be clever. It could stay. And I really liked what came out of it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And I just want to encourage persons to go get a copy of Kieran's book, Poetry. And tell us again where it's available, Kieran.
Yes, it's on Scribbles and Quills, paper-based bookshop,
Yeah.
Josh, Amazon and Kindle, or you can email me at poetryworld@gmail, or
Yeah.
you can call me at 763-8566.
Awesome, awesome. Oh my gosh. And it goes on and it goes on and it goes on. There's just so much richness in this book. Who is this book for?
Right. So, I think initially when I was asking the audience, I feel like I was selling myself short, and I told people, it's for teenagers and because I was thinking of the level of comprehension. But I even had friends who bought it and read it to their children.
Right.
They said it was able to like start these nice conversations and
Okay.
explain the poetry to new generations. So when I spoke to my mom, who just retired as a principal, and my editor's also a teacher, they
Yes.
were saying, don't limit your audience to saying, it really depends on the level of the child, but let the parents and the teacher decide that. So
Right.
to still put it out there for them and let them make the decision if it's at a level of the child can reach.
Yeah.
So far the audience has been wide, like from children to adults, which I really love because
Yeah.
I think it's like all inclusive.
Yes.
There's something for everyone, it's like that. And my editors, even if you're not from Trinidad, you get a
Yeah.
piece of
A
Trinidad.
taste of it, yes. A
So
big taste too.
yeah,
Not a little taste, people.
they,
It's a big
they have,
taste.
they have heavy hand.
Heavy hand and not doubles with slight
And not
peppers.
heavy. I
Yes.
love it. I love
I
it.
love it. I love it. And have you been going to schools to do any readings?
I actually want to. Like, I remember there was like Will Read Aloud Day. I was supposed to do some school, but it didn't happen. But I want to connect with my primary school, which is Aruka Government. primary school. I actually really want to connect with them. I want to actually just in my notes as I keep forgetting. I want to like connect with them and do like some readings to give back to them. Like even at the back of the book, it was intentional to me to state that my primary school is a recovery because I'm big about like the next generation and that kind of thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely would want to do some readings as you said. So
Definitely. And they need,
just
I mean,
listen, feel free to reach out.
yes, I agree. And especially now, children need to see, the success. They need to see positive role models. They need to see themselves. They need to see people who look like them, who are doing well, doing something positive with that energy, with the talent that God gave them, and just someone to speak into their lives, someone to speak into their lives, something positive. A lot of times parents and teachers might not understand some of the behavior of the children. Why are they acting like that? Why are they only scribbling up in the book? It's a talent.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a talent that they just don't know how, it's not pruned, right? So
Yeah,
they need somebody who has been there, who is
I
where,
can attest to that. I
yeah,
was reading animal books when I was younger.
right.
I would cut out all the animals. As soon as I know that only did it, I would be a creative. Even my sister could relate that she's a creative as well. So it's all about channeling the energies. A lot of times to give them a space and a
A
medium
space,
to talent.
yeah. That's it. And we have to be very sensitive and have that eye, because it comes, our talents, they show themselves in different ways. And every child, every human being, God has given a talent. And what we do with that talent is our gift back to God. And it's important that we not leave this earth with the talent. Don't bury your talent. We don't want we don't want that. And that's a very important thing as well that came up. I found in your book that theme, of we, because of the pandemic, death became more present and real to us. A lot of people started to think differently. If you were to die tomorrow, if you were to die today,
Right?
what would you have wanted accomplished before you go to the grave? Because I mean, we don't know, right? We don't know. And I think that was a theme that came up a lot in your book
Yeah, I love
because
that you said that because that is actually something that really was on my mind and still is on my mind. Because I'm like, especially like when my granddad died, I'm like, I hope that he did everything that he wanted to do.
that he was supposed to. Yeah,
Yeah,
not only what he wanted to, what were you
yeah,
supposed to do?
exactly.
That's so critical. Tell us a little bit more about that, how that staring death in the face, how that affected your psyche.
Yeah, wow. So, because I remember like with him, he was such this invincible kind of guy. He's like, he was certain, he's very spiritual. He's like, he's going to live to 100. He's like, 100 is key. And and I'm certain he would have had it not been for cancer because he's such a, what do you call it, like a spitfire. Is even though he retired eons ago, he still got a job because he couldn't stay home. So he's like cutting bush, he's like picking plum. Like we go down yeah, to the countryside. You go and buy fish and come back up and be like, we cooking fish for lunch. He's so much energy,
Full of life. Wow.
so much energy. So to see his health deteriorate, it was wow. Because even though you understand the fragility of life, like you just see your heroes as these invincible people.
Yeah, right? Like, where they gone? I didn't think they would have
Yeah.
ever gone anywhere.
So it's like so surreal to the
Yeah,
like
surreal.
wow, yeah, it's like pretty surreal. But it really makes me reflect and think about like, okay, my whole life has been geared towards medicine, and even though I'm not in that bracket right now, I can still contribute to society. I'm like, what? And for now is this book because I feel like sometimes we think that we're so one-dimensional as people, as humans. We don't have one purpose; we have multiple, purposes. So it's about finding what they are And a lot of times we probably overthink our purpose. And a lot of times it's just something that you really natural at. Like for people, it could be like singing, you sing in the shower, you like sing, you never really think that you'll get on stage and maybe pen a song to put on radio. That could be a purpose too. So I think the pandemic, I saw a lot of people say that the pandemic really challenged them to find their purpose. A lot of people, like when they lost their day jobs, I saw like they opened like food businesses and stuff like that. And I was so inspired, but even at that time, I didn't even know that I was going to write a book. This was like in the earlier stages of the pandemic.
Right.
I'm just one of those people. I'm like rooting for everybody. I was so happy people like.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, go you. I was like, that's awesome. And like now in retrospect, I'm like, maybe all along God was like showing me these people who just found their purpose doing something that is natural to them.
Yeah.
So,
And they needed that little scare
yeah,
to actually to get off their laurels, right? Because
definitely.
had it not been, they wouldn't have. Because again, that's the comfort zone that many of us perhaps were lulled into at a certain point. But then when this happened, we realized that, that's you just don't have the luxury of doing that. So there was a positive effect of the pandemic. It wasn't all bad. And, at some point in time, I remember telling God, thanks for the pandemic, because it really did take a lot of us out of our comfort zone. It stopped, our minds, our ideas about life, changed. It got a little jolt of reality that we're not going to be here forever.
That is exactly it. Because sometimes I look back and I'm like, did these years really just happen? I'm like, what would I have been doing
Yeah,
in where? Because sometimes I think I'm like, how far along would I have been graduated?
right,
I've been. I'm like, I've always been dreaming of like this pinnacle of like, finally being a doctor. Would I have been happy because I finally got it? Because
right.
I don't know because I've been it was blocked, right? So there's a lot. I'm like always like having like these deep kind of thoughts, but I guess that's part of it. And I'm happy that
That's
as a
part of
writer I
it.
can channel those thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. And writing, it really allows you so much leeway to
Yeah,
express different parts of yourself, right?
exactly.
Going back to your book, Kieran, and we are here on growthradiott.com. We are on Interview with the Authors with the author Kieran Isaac. And thank you for being with us. And, this book is so beautiful for different reasons. And I would encourage persons to get a copy of Kieran's book that is available also on Amazon.com and in different areas. If you want to call him, you can call him at 763-8566, is it?
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
it.
that's 763-8566. And for those of you who are living abroad, it's 868-763-8566. Sorry. And you have a part of one of the titles is kya kya kya. And that is, you know, and that is so Trini. Tell us about people who are abroad, they would not, if they look at this, they would not understand what that is.
This,
Give them some insight.
those are those pesky lizards that I thought I was the only one who had that problem with those lizards. So I
Uh,
remember I made a post about it on Facebook. So I think the initial stanza was just a status I had on Facebook.
uh-huh.
And I just posted it on Facebook. I'm like, I wouldn't say it went viral, but like so much people shared it.
Okay.
I was like, well, only living in my house. I was like,
Oh,
I don't know, it's just me, it's good through this. And I realized like I think I never see because everybody home now during the pandemic. But I
yeah.
see a lot of people complaining about these kakaka lizards waking them up in the night. So
Oh,
I was like, can I send this to people? And then I even added some David Rudder references.
yeah.
Because I'm a friend of Facebook, every time something crazy happens, she'll write, this is not a pet in here, this is madness.
Ah, I like
Um,
that.
I added it because I was
I
like, this
like
is
that.
so funny. Because every time I see this lizard now, I'm like, this is not a pet in here, this is madness.
Oh,
So I added it, and it was so funny.
yes.
And so yeah, that was just about a funny
A
real
lizard. Lizards
experience
about
that keeps
lizards.
happening because like even up to recently, there's still someone up in my roof.
Yeah.
But you're always hearing them.
Okay, that is special. That is special. Oh my goodness. I wonder if they knew that you're writing about them, what would they think?
Right? But
You
it's
know.
happened.
Oh my gosh, another title I have here is Zesters in Paradise. And oh my gosh, I'm of the old school, and I remember a time I keep hearing this term, Zesters. And I had to ask my niece, one of my nieces, Jamie Lee, what is a Zester? What is that? And now you have it, you've got it immortalized in your poem,
Yeah, I have to.
Zesters in Paradise. What's that about?
Yeah, so that was just about I feel like people say that they're like different categories of possessors, but
Yeah.
this one was more like the people who are more have no regard for life and
Okay.
they really just some people joke and they say they're here for a good time, not a long time, and
Oh.
they're really not thinking about tomorrow, that kind of thing. So that's why I tuned in Zephyrs in Paradise because it was kind of like the paradise was kind of like that heaven versus kind of
Ah.
equilibrium. So it's kind of like what is your end result after all of this lesson?
Wow.
So what is your
It's a
end
good
goal?
question. Good question.
It's kind of like a question that I was thinking.
Okay, good question. And Roti and Jesus. How
Um,
the two of them meet now?
my two favorite things in
The
life.
two favorite things. Oh, that's so sweet.
That was really fun because in the book launch,
Yeah.
this was actually a crowd favorite,
Oh,
and I was
really?
really happy because I was kind of like, thank God, because those are my two favorite things. Like everybody in
Okay.
the audience likes my two favorite things. Like you
Yeah.
guys were really good guests.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it
goodness.
was, yeah, my two favorite things. Like anytime mommy is like cooking or like she's asking for a lunch menu, I'll be like, roti.
Like, duh. What kind
Definitely.
of question is
Yeah,
that?
right. I'm like, definitely, as you guys know me now. So like I think one day she asked me, she's like, "What is your roti?"
Yeah.
And I feel like I subconsciously went into a poet mode, and
Uh-huh.
I was like, roti and Jesus are the two most important things in life.
Oh my
And I was
goodness.
like, and as a poet, when you hit
Yeah.
the fuse, like my aunt is a writer, so you're like, write that down, write that down, write that down.
Right. Okay,
I
great.
ran
She's
off
on
one
point.
day. Yeah,
She's on the ball.
I ran off like a madman, and I was just
Yeah.
writing it down. And when I wrote it, I just love the flow of it.
Yeah.
It's such a comforting poem to me. I even like when I read it somewhere, someone was like, "That it's too short. It should be longer."
Mm.
I love Ruth and I love Jesus.
Yes.
And people say they really love the Caribbeanness of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite poems, and I always love to see the people's reactions to it because it's fun. It's my two
It's
favorite.
fun. Oh gosh, that is awesome. And I really would love to keep going because it's such a fun book. It's such an important book. It's such a beautiful book. But we are running out of time. And but we will have Kiran back. This is just one of two interviews, and we're so glad that you were able to join us on Growth Radio today, Kiran Isaac. I'm very, very happy. We're very proud of you. I'm happy at the success that you're enjoying, and I'm looking forward to what's next. But this, for me, I see so much potential, so much more potential with this book that you could use it. You could use different parts of it to do different things for kids, for different sections of the society. And I am so glad that you wrote it. I'm so glad that it's out. I'm glad it's published. And congratulations again. And so before we go, I mean, could you lead us out with that poem, Roti and Jesus?
Of course. Let me pull it up. All right. This one is called Ruthie and Jesus.
Yeah.
So there are two things that bring me comfort, and that's Ruthie and Jesus. One resides in my stomach, and one walks daily with us. Curried aloo, chicken, and pumpkin wrapped in warm daiquiri reminds me of when God wrapped his loving arms around me. Jesus is always the answer, and so is Ruthie too. One is the answer to life, and the other, what to eat with aloo. I can't ever imagine myself getting tired of it, and as for following Jesus, I'll never say I'm sorry.
Oh, that is awesome. It is so beautiful. It's so precious, and I'm sure Jesus loves that poem too. And oh gosh, we're so glad that you were here with us this evening, Kiran. For those of you who are on Radio Land, thank you for joining us tonight on growthradiott.com. We're here every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on www.growthradiott.com. We're also on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel on Growth Live Stream. And Kiran, just before you go, just tell us again, where can we get your book?
Yes, we got Scribbles and Quills in Shibona, paper-based bookshop at Normandy Hotel, Jardin's Bookstore, Rima, Amazon and Kindle, or you can contact me at 763-8566 or poetryworld@gmail.com.
Awesome, awesome. So we're very glad again to have you, and congratulations. I can't say it enough. I'm just so excited. And until next time, God spare life, we're going to have you back to talk a little bit more about poetry and about all the other sections and titles of your poem. We are excited for you. Thank you for being with us. So until next time, Kiran, have a great weekend and have a great week. Okay, bye, Growth Radio listeners. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Growth Radio is growing with a new program, interviewing with the authors, local authors, regional authors, international authors, new authors, and well-seasoned authors too. Join us every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. AST. We're interviewing authors, and who knows, next time we'll be interviewing you. Interview with the authors every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on growthradiott.com.
Growth Radio.
Growth Radio. Growth Radio. Growth Radio. This is a message to the saints. The table has been set, so take your place. There is no more condemnation. There is only grace.
Growth Radio, Gospel Radio. Our way to heaven. Growth Radio, Gospel Radio. Our way to heaven. One king and one kingdom making people feel like family.